think we good. I think we good. Think we good. What's up? What's up, y'all? Oh, we in here deep already. I love it. 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 What's up, y'all? What's up? I love it. We in here nice and deep. Pause. All right, y'all. Let's get this show started. Let's get this show started with no further ado, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Nothing but love in the building. All right, y'all. Let's get this thing started. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Let's get this thing started. Playback. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in episode 245. Wow, that's a lot of episodes. And for y'all to continue to support, show major, major love, and the show continue to grow. I want to thank you, tip my hat to you. The show can't grow without your support, and it means the world to me. So thank you genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Again, let's get the show started. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, shout out to the chat. The chat is in here deep. Man, look at the chat. The chat is in here showing major, major love already. I see some gifted, some people gifted the chat, man. And again, I want to thank y'all for supporting the show for real. Shout out to Treatment in the building. Your BK in the building. Shout out to Shay in the building. Shout out to Winter. Shout out to Hazel, Ashley, and Chat. Shout out to Culture in the building, my brothers and sisters. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Shout out to Bang Marley, Memo in the building, Anthony, Jade, Lade, and King Pete. King Pete gifted 5 more. He gifted to the pod, man. He gifted some membership. So thank you for that, King Pete. Major, major thank yous. Again, without your support, man, the show continues to grow, man. Thank you. And a shout out to Ebony as well. Hey, chat. Hey, Ashley. We in here. Hey, everyone in chat. Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all as always. It's going to be a fun night. It's Wednesday night. It's a lot going on in the world, so we're going to get to it with no further ado. Don't forget, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that tries to stand out for being and saying negative things. Have the ability to be positive, but stand out for being positive. We have the real conversations here, whether they're, whether it's sports, entertainment, educational, social commentary, viral moments. We talk about all, but we do it respectably and we have the real conversation. So don't forget that. And always remember the only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate has a location, it's just not here. We celebrate life culture over here. So let's get this thing started. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure you go to at OUV Records on Instagram and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all stay in tune to Instagram and for all the music and the interest. So make sure y'all continue to tap in. All right, y'all. First question of the night. And remember, y'all, these are not my questions, so stick to the answers in the questions. All right, first one of the night. Most menacing clown on this list. Most menacing clown on this list. Number one, Art, as Art the Clown. And y'all probably know him as the Eve's Hollow. No, it's the other stuff. Y'all know who Art the Clown is. Art that does, I can't think of the name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Art the Clown. So the most menacing clown on this list, most menacing clown on this list. Number one, Art the Clown. Number two, It, aka Pennywise. Number three, Ronald McDonald. Number four, the Joker. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. So again, the question is most menacing clown on this list. Most menacing clown on this list. Again, number one is Art the Clown. Number two is It, aka Pennywise. Number three, it's Ronald McDonald. And number four, it's the Joker from Batman. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. If you know the history of all these clowns in their own universe and their own way, they all are menacing. The one who has the most squeaky clean, and that's just by perception, is Ronald McDonald. Is Ronald McDonald, but people have this on this list because of people in real life. They pass away from cancer eating eating what company he represents. So they say he the real killer for real. Um, the Joker is always a good time for me. He's probably the most famous villain ever. In any type of DC, Marvel, you combine them all, the Joker is probably the most infamous villain and world renowned, world known. Art the Clown. I mean, if you watch any of his movies, whether it's Eve's Hollow, what is the other new movie? The movies I think it's the Destroyer or something like that, or it's something with a D. Pause. I can't think of the name, but those movies, he gets busy and he does it without conscience. He's a demon clown, and we all seen what it can do. It has been the latest craze of them all lately. So again, either one of these, I'm not mad at. Me personally, I'm gonna say the Joker. The Joker is most menacing because he doesn't calculate. He just gets busy, and somehow due to all his menacing ways, it just adds up and it creates what it creates. So I'm going with the Joker. I'm going with the Joker. In the chat, I see number one. So they going with art as the most menacing in the chat. So again, I went with the Joker. The chat went with art. Mind y'all, over 282 people, excuse me, over 282,000 people voted on this. At 37%, the rest of the world went with Art the Clown at number one. Well, I'm kind of surprised because Art is relatively new. So I'm kind of surprised. I mean, you got old Pennywise, you got Ronald McDonald, you got the Joker, and so 37% went with Art. But this was a close, poll regarding which one was the most menacing clown of them all. So it makes sense, I guess. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit them 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. Moving on to our next popular opinion question. Which two songs is a must performance in a Michael Jackson movie? Which two songs is a must performance in the Michael Jackson movie? Number one, Off the Wall and Rock With You. Number two, Human Nature and Smooth Criminal. Number three, Billie Jean and Remember the Time. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Y'all know that the Michael Jackson movie is coming up. I'm not that excited only because we already got a Jackson 5 movie, which is timeless, classic. The acting was superb. The portrayal of Michael Jackson, it hasn't been a better one since then. This movie's called The American Dream, for those who don't know. It's actually like a show series movie, but it's excellent. It's like 3.5 hours long, and it's excellent. And the portrayal of Michael Jackson, his family was just through the roof. So that's why me personally, I'm not super excited. But we are in 2026. We do have new technology, and y'all know how these movies go when it comes to the biopics. If we can't relive the moments through performances, through these songs, then the movie's gonna be ass. Like, let's just be honest. So that's why the question is posed regarding it. So for me, the two songs that I have to have in this Michael Jackson movie for me to even regard it to being a decent movie for me out of all the songs on this list, I'm not gonna lie to you. Billie Jean and Remember the Time for me. Because this was at a time when Michael Jackson music videos used to come on like right before the Sunday basketball games or right afterwards. That's how top tier Michael Jackson was. His videos all came on MTV, BET, stuff like that. But when he premiered a video, it was like he was premiering a movie. Like they would show the video, they would show the background, and this was either right before the Sunday primetime game in the NBA or right after it. So that used to hit different for me. So me, Billie Jean, and Remember the Time for me. In the chat, I'm seeing Off the Wall and Rock with You. Okay, not mad at that. I'm not. Those are fire songs right there. That's young Mike in the game. You know what I mean? That's right before post Jackson 5 Mike right there. So I'm not mad at that. So again, I went with Billie Jean and Remember the Times. The chat, y'all went with Off the Wall and Rock with You at 46%. Mind y'all, over 539,000 people voted on this. Went with Human Nature and Smooth Criminal. I'm kind of surprised about that. Don't get me wrong, those two songs is absolutely fire. Let's not get it twisted. Michael Jackson catalog is absolutely fire. So me personally, none of these songs is wrong, right? But I'm kind of surprised. Human Nature and Smooth Criminal. Smooth Criminal was so good that they turned Smooth Criminal into basically a Michael Jackson game. For those who know when they had the Michael Jackson game, Moonwalker, that was the basis of even starting the game, was because of the Smooth Criminal music video. So, hey, I'm not mad at that at all, too. Again, Michael Jackson got so much great music. If the movie's good and these performances is off the wall, stop. Then it's going to be something successful. So we're going to see, obviously, moving forward before that movie when that movie come out. So I'm looking forward to it, but I can't wait to see these performances, if not anything else, when it comes to the Michael Jackson movie. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Hollywood Need to Ask Us. Our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. I came up with this segment because I got better ideas for both a movie or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us tonight. I would love to see a movie finally being made by probably one of my favorite directors and writers, Jordan Peele. I have an idea that would tie his movies Get Out, Nope, and Us all together. So I think this will be the one because they have said, it's been rumored that it is all a one story type of thing. But I wrote obviously some of the script for this. So I would actually call this one The Gaze. The Gaze. And if you think about all three movies, you'll see why. It's basically the consumption of souls, consuming souls. When you think of Get Out, when you're trying to consume the mind, when you think of uh, I said dope. What I meant nope. If I said dope, when you think of nope, it's basically consuming the spectacle. And when you think of us, is basically the tathards, right? But you're basically trading places, right? So this one is the consumption of souls. So a decade after the Hands Across America, the surviving the tather, the main character of that movie finds herself at a secluded tech retreat hosted by the Armitage family, which is the family that was known in the first one with the Get Out, and but is their business partners. So it's not them because if you watch the movie, they all got bodied, right? But it's their business partners that runs this tech retreat. And again, the lady from us is there. They are testing a regional satellite that reveals that they're trying to capture like the neural memory and trying to again capture their mind and their soul. So the retreat goal is to harvest authentic human trauma and from the tether to feed into the sunken place. So now it goes into the sunken place, right? And of course, all the elite clients would take that and they would be allowed to basically go through what is quote unquote the black experience. I know I hate saying the word black, but not experience the suffering of the ultimate order, which is the spectacle from the Note movie. So I think this would be fire. I think this would be fire. Obviously, this would be what they call it like it's a horror movie, but y'all know Jordan Peele is always more than a horror movie. Rated R this time. No PG-13. We want rated R this time. Actors I will have as my foundation. Daniel Kaluuya. Uh, I can never say her name right, so I'm gonna skip her for now. I'm gonna get to her name last. Kiki Palmer, Winston Duke, Lakeith Stanfield, Julia Stiles, Allison Williams, Bradley Cooper, and Lupita Nyong'o. I hope I said that right. Obviously, my director would be Jordan Peele. Also, my co-writer would be Jordan Peele. Music score would be Michael Adams, and my art director would be Ruth DeJong. And lastly, my producer would be Ian Cooper to make this movie. And again, I will call it The Gaze because of everything I just said right there. So I think this would be an absolute fire movie. And I think people will really mess with it. I really do. I really think people would mess with it and go support it, you know, to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I love his movies, and they feel like a universe to me when I watch these movies. So, shout out to Desi in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in one of our big bad shoulders in the building, man. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. And again, shout out to King P. He just gifted 5 more memberships for tonight's show as well too. So appreciate that. I appreciate Dizzy in the building, Desi in the building. Yeah. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. I'm gonna give out 3 Eddie Murphy awards for 3 fire movies that you must see. My Eddie Murphy's the standard when it comes to acting to me, so that's why we're giving out Eddie Murphy awards. All right, so my first Eddie award goes to the movie that came out in 2005, directed by Neil Marshall. It stars Natalie Mendoza, uh, Shauna McDonald, Alex Reed, McAnna Buring, Sashke Mulder, Nora Jane Noon, and Oliver Milborn. This movie is called, why I got that there. This movie is called The Descent. Fire must see movie. It's about some friends who that is into adventure, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't spoil it for y'all, so make sure y'all go see the Descent. Fire must see movie. My second Eddie Murphy award goes to the movie that came out in 2008, directed by DJ Caruso. This stars Shia LaBeouf, Michelle Manningham, Rosario Dawson, Billy Bob Thornton, and Anthony Mackie. This movie is called Eagle Eye. Fire must see movie about a young man who's struggling throughout life, and then you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't spoil it for y'all, so make sure y'all tap into that movie. And my third final Eddie Murphy award goes to the movie that came out in 1997, directed by David Hogan. This movie stars Keenan Ivory Wayans, the legend Keenan Ivory Wayans, the legend John Voight, Eric Roberts, the legendary Eric Roberts, Jill Hennessy, Paul Savino, and Simon Baker. This movie is called Most Wanted. Fire must see movie. And this is about, an army ranger who happens to go on a special mission, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. Again, I won't spoil it for y'all. So again, make sure y'all tap into Most Wanted. So my 3 Eddie Murphy awards goes to the movie The Descent, Eagle Eye, and Most Wanted. Make sure y'all tap into those movies. Come back, we talk about them, have a good old time. So make sure y'all check out those movies. All right, y'all. Moving on to our Michael Jackson Award. You know, I'm gonna give y'all a profile artist to tap into, whether they hip hop or R&B, whether they're new or old. I'm gonna give y'all some fire. So make sure you go tap into this music. So the artist that y'all gotta tap into is the R&B group called Three Piece. Yeah, that's their name. It's called Three Piece. Fire group. Make sure y'all put these three songs on your playlist. So my first Michael Jackson award goes to this song called Wedding Day. Fire, must hear song, put it on your playlist. Second Michael Jackson award goes to this song, Oh Yeah. Make sure y'all put that. I'm sorry, Oh Yeah Part 2. So this is a part 2. It's not the first one, it's the part 2. So make sure y'all go listen to that. And my third final Michael Jackson award goes to this song called For the Ladies Only. Again, For the Ladies Only. Fire must have song on y'all playlist. So again, the group is called Three Piece. Put these three songs on your playlist. Wedding Day, Oh Yeah Part 2, and For the Ladies Only. Make sure y'all put those on y'all playlist. All right, y'all, moving on. You already know we're about to book those tickets. We're about to take that trip. Send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules in the game. You type in T to send them to Turkey. You type in N not to send it to Turkey. Shout out to my dog Vic in the building. Yo, when I day ones hit the likes, hit the 100s, you already know it helps with the growth of the show. He already knows turkey time. He already knows turkey time. That's what's up. I love that. He already knows. All right, y'all. First one of the night: cinnamon turkey or nah, cinnamon turkey or nah. Women's champion boxer Clarissa Shields confronts legendary NFL player Shannon Sharp that she can beat fellow man boxer Rolly Romero. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending her to Turkey for confronting Shannon Sharp, or are we not sending her to Turkey for confronting Shannon Sharp? Again, Clarissa Shields was also known as the GOAT, boxer, great, outstanding, phenom of a fighter. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. She again confronts Shannon Sharp that she can beat Rolly Romero in a fight. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending her to Turkey or no? Are we sending her to Turkey or no? Rolla Ramirez, she said. What I say? How to say Ramirez? Rolly, right? Yeah, Rolly Romero. Yes, it is Ramirez. Maybe I'm tripping. It's Rolla Romero. You got me tripping. You said Ramirez. It's Marrero. Yeah. I thought I was tripping. Uh, turkey. He said, send her to turkey and Swiss cheese. Yo, y'all are funny. He said turkey and Swiss cheese. Oh my God. He said rolly, and turkey and Swiss cheese. Send her to Turkey. I live here. I love her. I love her, but she's tripping. I guess I love her, but she's tripping. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna have to send her to Turkey. I'm a big supporter of Clarissa Shields. I love what she does in the ring. I've said it several times on this platform that she's a boxing phenom. I said this countless of times, and I've also spoke that in her personal life, she should keep her personal life personal and not give it to the rest of the world because it's not being blessed right now for whatever reason. People like to say whatever, but for whatever reason, her personal life is not blessed in the eyes of the world. And that's fine because everybody not going to jack what you do out the ring. That's not their business. So don't give them more ammunition. Focus on being a phenom boxer. With that being said, I'm sending her to Turkey when it comes to this. Like, what are we talking about? And I seen what she said, where she felt like she's the better boxer. And I can understand it. If you watch boxing, technically, she does things better than Rolly, technically, right? Defensively, uh, the way she sets up and just straight boxing in the technical sense, and how she does it. Her flair compares to his flair. But when you say you could beat him, I don't see that happening. Mind you, Clarissa is heavier than him. She is heavier than him, but he's still a dude, and he carries more power. He's much faster, quicker, and no matter how great your defense is, you're still going to get caught. So I gotta send her to Turkey. And this is not, and I hate having this man woman conversation because this is not gonna happen. This is a fight that will never happen. So why do we keep getting mad about the hypotheticals instead of putting our energy into things that can actually happen? Why don't we ask the question, can he beat this guy? And can she beat this woman? Because let's keep it real. If they allow transsexuals to fight in women's boxing, it's not going to be good. They had a transsexual guy who was fighting in mixed martial arts, so I forget the person's name, but he was cleaning the chicks out. And as a man, I'm like, yo, that's not fair because he has an advantage. He has a bone density. He has a quickness that the women that he's fighting just don't have. Just women in general just don't have. So that's a unfair advantage regardless of weight. Now, weight does play a part in a fight, but a man's strength is a man's strength. Just because a man is 140 pounds doesn't mean he can't knock out a man that's 250 pounds. I done seen it. So if he can knock out a 250 or 260-pound man, what do you think he's going to do to a woman? If you watch football and if you know football, strength and size does matter, right? But the meanest guy on most football teams is not this 630, 325-pound guy. There's always a 5'8" guy, 5'9" guy, 5'10" guy who's out there that just taking everybody out. There was a guy named Lorenzo O'Neal that played fullback. He might have been 5'9", might have been. He might have been about 230, 235, 240, playing fullback. And if you watched him, and the guys that he had to go up against was bigger than him every single time. 6'2", 6'3", 250-pound linebackers. These are old school linebackers. 230-pound linebackers, 240-pound linebackers. Fast and can hit. Lorenzo O'Neal used to put them on their back. So again, there's a type of strength and dog in men that some women, not some women, that women just don't have. That's why we don't compete against women and women don't compete against men. Why are we still having this idiotic conversation? Why is people even getting mad that this fighter who's a fighter who fights men and beats men, why is that even a question if he could beat this woman who happened to be 30 pounds heavier than him? Like, what are we talking about? Sparring and having your belt on the line and fighting for fight night, that's two different things. That's two different things. You spar against men. Why? To have the advantage when you fight against women. You will never see a man spar against a woman to get ready for his fight. So again, like that's stop being idiotic with these conversations regarding men and women and coming to physical sports and fighting. Because if it was even, then it wouldn't be gender on gender. That wouldn't be a factor. So I'm sending her to Turkey regarding this. I gotta send her to Turkey. I support her, love her as a boxer, and I actually like the things that she stands up for. I don't want to say actually, like she's always been positive. So I actually support Clarissa Shields. But at the end of the day, this is an idiotic conversation to have, and you got better things to do with your time. Like knocking out more women. Like that's not be idiotic with these conversations. Shout out to Vic. He said a 112-pound pro would KO her. I'm saying, like, and this is not, and I don't want her to feel like the world's against her because the world is not. She got a whole lot of people that support her. If you go to her fights, that them places is packed out, and the venues get bigger and bigger. She's must see TV when she gets in that ring. But these conversations is idiotic, and it doesn't move the culture of boxing forward because this would never happen. This would never happen. Remember that Romero already said that she would beat him because he don't fight women. That's what he said. He said, "I'm not even going to throw a punch because this is an idiotic conversation to have." And some people say, "Well, I know a girl that beat up a dude before." Okay, like there's always an exception to the rules somewhere, somehow, some way. But this is not happening by and large. Why do you think the society tell men not to hit women? Because if it was celebrated that guys to hit women, like come on now, like am I bugging when I say that? So we all know better. We all know better. This is an idiotic conversation to have, and for her to be arguing about that, it's silly. It's silly. Got better things to do with your time. Get ready for your next fight. I can't wait to see your next fight, and get ready for the next fighter. That's all. To argue something that you can't prove is idiotic. So sometimes I think they do, like people argue these hypotheticals just to get the views in itself. I honestly believe that. And when you're a phenom, you don't need that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Again, Senator Turkey or nah. Senator Turkey or nah. Again, we type in T to send it to Turkey. We type in N not to send it to Turkey. New York City has announced that they're trying to do a wage proposal. The wage proposal is being considered to raise the minimum wage to 30. As of right now, it's at $17 an hour. They're doing a wage proposal where it raises the minimum wage to $30 an hour. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending New York City to Turkey? Are we sending New York City to Turkey? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Some of y'all like, damn, that's an easy one. Not sending to Turkey, right? Yeah, I would agree with that. I can't send it to Turkey only if they doing a proposal to raise minimum wage and they don't raise the cost of living. Am I bugging when I say that? What's the purpose of paying people more if the cost of living is only going to go up? And I get it, like yo, if the cost of living go up, they got to get paid more. Facts, right? But the whole purpose of people being able to work an honest job, you have to incentivize people to work honest jobs that other people is not working. And without certain people working these minimum wage jobs, you're not going to have what is called industry. So you have to, in some way, somehow, incentivize that with raising the wage without the cost of living going up. So for people to actually work a certain amount of hours and they can make ends meet. They don't have to go to college. Their thing is not college. Their thing is not necessarily having a specialized skill. They just would rather work and do their hours and be service based. And it's nothing wrong with that because that's honest work. Now give these people a chance to make some money and put real food on their table. The fact that if they get a raise all the way to $30 an hour, and then on top of it, they turn around and raise the cost of living, well, basically they're not getting ahead. I remember a point in time, it's gonna make me sound old, but I tell it. When I was in high school, I remember $5, 5.25 an hour was like, that's your after school job. It was like, yo, you get 5.25 an hour, dog. Like that's all right. But that was back at a time where people was able to rent apartments literally for 350, 450, 550. Like when I was in high school, people was literally renting apartments at 550. And depending on your neighborhood, that could have been a one, two, of course, the bad neighborhoods, that's a 3 bedroom in a real bad neighborhood, but I get the point that I'm making. So at the end of the day, is these wages coming with a place where people can get ahead? So if you create these industries where people are basically the working poor and they can never see the end of that tunnel, then what are we doing? It's continuously seeing the same thing. So I don't mind the pay increase, right? But if the pay increase is going to come and then right after the cost of living is going to go up, it's like, what was the point? You would rather for the cost of living to go down and to to stay where it's at now, opposed to it going up and you getting a pay increase. It makes no difference, right? So that's what I'll say about that. So for now, I'm not going to send it to Turkey. I'm not going to send it to Turkey. In the chat, y'all not sending it to Turkey as well. I'm seeing. So that's how I feel about that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. It's about that time. Yeah, it's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. Again, first hot topic in time to rap. The Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, called his wedding off. He called the wedding off, man. After allegedly after his fiance Jane Romero, excuse me, Ramirez. I'm sorry, Ramos, excuse me. After his fiance Jane Ramos allegedly refused to sign a prenup, and Dak Prescott is worth 200 to $300 million. So allegedly, Jane Ramos is refusing to sign a prenup, and this is the reason why he's calling off their wedding and the wedding plans that they had. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Do y'all think it was a good move by Dak Prescott to call off his wedding because the mother of his children would not sign the prenup? Or do you think you know, he's gonna miss out on not being married and having the married lifestyle? Um, do you think he messed up by not, putting, officially getting married? So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Me personally, I think this is an easy one for me. It's an easy one for me and my proclivities on what American style marriage is in this country. Let's be real, y'all. Marriage is a business here. Like, are we gonna have the real conversation? Marriage is a business. Marriage is not about love. It's about business. And most people, that's how they get their riches in this country. It's through marriage. And when people get divorced, they walk away with half. So if Dak Prescott is worth 250 to $300 million, if that's his worth, as of right now, if they get married, she walks away with half. It's just that simple. On top of the fact that I believe she has, I believe, one or two kids by him, she's going to walk away with half. And in a state like Texas, if you don't have the proper prenup put together, they're going to give her half. Even the prenup in itself, if it's not fully worded correctly, the judge or any judge can veto a prenup in the state of Texas. But if it's ironclad and it's worded a certain way, they have to stick to that prenup. But is he dodging a bullet? Because marriage in this country for men is sold to us as if it's about love. But for women, it's sold to women in this country that it's about business. So did he miss out? To me, that's an easy one. That's a hell no. Because honestly, like, let's keep it real. Most men get married believe it or not, ladies, is because we do love you and because we don't want anybody else with you. And we want to have our family structure with you as the individual. It's something about you that we feel like you have the temperament where you can have our children. And if we're going to keep it all the way real too, it's also genetics based as well too. If we feel like a woman has good genetics, we're going to explore the option of marrying you to have our children. But because I know that we don't need marriage for a woman to be covered and be under my cover and legally by having policy and making sure our children is good, we just need policies. We don't need marriage. But for men that do get married, kudos to them. Kudos to them. But most men in this era don't see the benefit just to say that, yo, I put a ring on it. Because no man wants to put a ring on it, pay marriage prices for somebody that's not going to be all the way in. For somebody when your career's over and when you're home, things don't work out all of a sudden. It was different when you was going to work every day, but now you're home. It's time to go. And in the NFL and the NBA, if you look at the numbers regarding that and why couples break up after that player retires, it's very high. So you're splitting all your assets with somebody that's not all the way in. So that's a very scary thing for anybody to go through, especially men, because in this country, like people don't care about men. If we end up down and out, there's nobody we can go to get us out being down and out. But a woman, if she's down and out, like let's keep it real. She could go to her family and rebuild within her family structure, and they will still give her the treatment and the respect of a woman that's going through some things that just need a little help. But let a man be super caked up, he falls on hard time, they will film his ass. Like, yo, look at this bum. He's sleeping on my couch now. He used to be, he used to make $1 million. Now he's sleeping on my couch. Look at him. He can't even provide anymore. Your friends will ostracize you. It's like so for men, dividing our assets is not necessarily a problem, but the problem is dividing assets with somebody that's not all the way in. So at the end of the day, did he dodge a bullet? Yes. Yes, you have to protect your assets. He didn't work this hard for no reason. He didn't work this hard to just divide it all up with somebody that's not all the way in. And this is alleged. I have to say alleged because they saying allegedly that she refused to sign the prenup. It could be of other reasons, but this is what broke out. So I have to say alleged. But they're not married, and they were supposed to get married, and they ain't no more married no more. You know what I'm saying? So that prenup is the deal breaker. You either sign it or you don't. Now, if she had somebody in her ear that had any real sense, they would tell her to sign the prenup. Just go ahead and sign it. You're there for love. So if you're there for love and he's going to marry you, but there's a prenup in place, while y'all married, you're well taken care of. Your children is your children. They're well taken care of. So at the end of the day, God forbid if he wakes up one day and be like, yeah, I don't want this no more. I'm gonna leave what I have, you leave what you have. But at most men, when you do right by us, and if we make other decisions moving forward, we're gonna make sure you straight. She's not going back to struggle world. Like let's keep it real. A prenup is not always ironclad. It also depends what state you live in. And a state like Texas, a judge could literally throw a prenup out. If y'all do y'all research, go ahead, do y'all research. They could literally throw it out. So if somebody was in her ear with real sense, yo, he loves you. He's going to marry you. Marry him. Sign the prenup. Sign a prenup. And be what you need to be for him. Now, if one day he wakes up that one day and say, "Yeah, I want something different," okay, it is what it is. And guess what? You'll be able to walk away with something that's fair opposed to half. and you will still be ahead of the game. So I don't see why, but people do what they want to do at the end of the day. Shout out to Ebony. Ebony says, She smart man. She was about to finish her master plan. Wow, wow, that was spicy. She said, smart man. She was about to finish her master plan. And honestly, I don't believe every woman that marries a man is in it for the money. I honestly don't believe that. But a lot of women, as we've seen, this is not a character uh, trait of all women, but based on what we've seen throughout history, it is what it is, right? And obviously, the ones who stick with their guy, they don't get as much pub because it's boring, right? But there's a lot of women who are happily married with the prenup, and it doesn't even come up because they're in happy marriages. Mind you, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. So, I mean, at the end of the day, sign the prenup. This is about love. You got your kids, you got the family structure. Just sign the prenup. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Jesse Jackson Jr. was deeply offended by the politicians using his father, Reverend Jesse Jackson, the late great Reverend Jesse Jackson, which included three former U.S. presidents and several politicians, the services of his dad as basically a political platform to basically get their stuff off. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Jesse Jackson Jr. deeply offended by the politicians using his father, the late great Reverend Jesse Jackson, including three U.S. presidents and several politicians, as a political tool and a ploy uh, on their views in politics and using the platform of their dad for that. And the reason why there's a caveat to that is right before they went up, he had made mention. There's quite a few of y'all in here. Do not use my dad's services as a platform for politics. Don't do it. It's not cool. Don't do it. But the problem is at funerals, when you give a space for everybody to go up and talk, and everybody that goes up and talk, you don't know like what they're gonna say. And honestly, it's kind of too late unless you sitting by the microphone or sitting by somebody like you cut the mic. So of course, those three U.S. former presidents and a few of those politicians use that services as a political ploy, which to me is deeply and highly disrespectful. These people don't have the couth to separate their political agendas for a man's services and funerals. And mind you, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to funerals and you allow people to speak, these people wasn't even close to Reverend Jesse Jackson. Wasn't even close. Had very tumultuous relationships with these people. And at the end of the day, when you think about it, and I can't imagine being in his shoes. I know what it's like being in his shoes. I lost both of my parents back to back. I would feel a type of way about that too. I'll be highly offended, and my family would feel a type of way about that as well, especially after I done said not to. So now you're not even respecting me as a man, and now you're not respecting the family and my father's memory. How low can you be as a politician if you're being asked not to use the platform as a political tool, but you do it anyway? The lack of humanity, the lack of understanding is on a whole nother level. When people do that and they are very agenda based, that lets you know that they're being controlled by a higher entity. People telling on themselves when it comes to politics. That's one of the things I love about politics because when you let people speak and you let people have the platform after you done set the rules, and they still show their ass, yeah, you're being controlled. You're a plant. And people like that should not have access into the community because it's always going to be tainted. Can you imagine being in your community and seeing that somebody supplies the community with clean water and they supplying this clean water to people that are in need, but as they applying them with clean water, they give them verbiage or different um, like different what's I'm missing a word right now. But as they giving them water, it's agenda based. They're using basically the people like wow, thank you, that emotional thing. Like yeah, God gonna show up, and when God show up, it's good. And while God's showing up, you should vote for me or you should vote for he. And it's agenda based. So it's never off of a positive coming off of a positive tree, in my opinion. So that's very disrespectful. And again, these type of people should not have a place to speak in our communities. And these people, some of them, they supposed to be brothers. They supposed to be sisters. What they say in the Minister Society? Come on, man. We supposed to be brothers. You trying to kick knowledge? Come on, man. Like at the end of the day, we have to be very diligent in our communities who we let speak up. And now, because of the lack of respect at somewhere like a funeral, now we have to gatekeep at a whole nother level. Like, yeah, you wasn't really cool with my pops or my moms. Appreciate your support, but you don't need to be speaking. You're a politician on top of that. Oh, yeah, you going to get up here and show your ass. No, thank you for coming. Have a seat. Especially after I done said so. So, I mean, I, the power is always in the blood, but at the end of the day, these people are treacherous, and you have to be careful with politics. So I'm not mad at Jesse Jackson Jr. for speaking up on the behalf of his dad and his family on the disrespect and the lack of empathy that these former presidents and these politicians that were speaking up and using the platform of the funeral as a political ploy. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Dwight Howard, back in the news again. Dwight Howard, eldest son, has released viral recordings of conversations that he had with his father while his mom is on the phone. And, it's just one of them things that it's just a sad thing to see. I have to be honest with y'all. Several of these conversations basically echo that the son feels like Dwight Howard wasn't there for him in his upbringing. That's what the conversations echo. But my two biggest issues regarding this, you're speaking to your father while you're recording a conversation with your dad. I don't care if your dad was the best or the worst. Like real love, especially amongst a family structure, especially when it comes to father and son, that's a sacred bond, regardless if your father is perfect or not. My dad wasn't perfect, but I love that man. We was more like big brother, little brother, but at the end of the day, I've never had a conversation with my father that was uncomfortable that I had to record. I've never had an uncomfortable conversation with my mom that I had to record. And even though I was close to both of my parents, we didn't always agree. We argued a lot. But my love and my respect for them, it wouldn't even allow me to process recording them. So when you record somebody, am I the only one thinking you're using the recording as some sort of future agenda or ploy? Now, mind you, I don't know Dwight Howard. I don't got no dog in the fight on what type of dad he is, but that in itself is low down. I don't care what he did or what he done or what he didn't do. That is low down. My second issue is you don't need your mom to have an uncomfortable conversation with your father. You don't need your dad to have an uncomfortable conversation with your mother. So the fact that it's being recorded, that's on a whole nother level where it's super duper deep, where it's like you're using this recording to do something with it. What are you trying to prove? You're trying to prove something when you record something of somebody and they not knowing that they're being recorded. You're trying to prove something in a recording. Now, when you have the next parent on the phone and there's a tumultuous relationship between both parents, that doesn't resolve anything because that parent, if you, especially if you're around the other parent, whether a son is around his father, or rather a son is around his mother, or a daughter's around a mother or a father, more often, if that relationship is negative, that child is going to have the mindset of the parent that they're with. So that doesn't solve anything. Trying to be there for somebody being a mediator, that doesn't help anything because there's a tumultuous relationship there. There's always going to be a echo of hurt and an echo of you didn't do this and I did this. That doesn't solve anything. Now, mind you, based on the recordings, basically Dwight Howard was saying, I may not have been there the way you wanted me to be there, but I took care of you. I paid $13,000 a month in child support. And if you ask anybody in the history of being a kid and not being a kid, in the history of being an adult, that's taking care of somebody financially for sure. Is that physically being there? Of course not. Is that end all be all when it comes to raising a child? Of course not. That's foolish to even imply that. But the financial aspect is the biggest aspect in raising a child. Like, let's keep it real. You can't be there for the child emotionally if the finances is not already there. It's a very hard thing to do. Most parents have disconnect with their children because they're trying to make the money. And obviously, most kids don't see that. They don't see the intention. They see what the lesson is being learned from that. All I know is that you don't spend time with me. That's all I know. Yeah, I'm taken care of, but you don't spend time with me. But the reason why I can take care of you is so I do what I need to do as far as work. Now, again, not defending it, just giving it context and understanding. So at the end of the way, as a kid or a child or a young adult, you can feel any way you want to feel. But the facts are the facts. Anytime you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with mom or dad, or whoever you have a discord with, it doesn't take the other parent to be on the phone or to be in your presence to have that conversation if the conversation is supposed to be somewhat out of resolved, to have some sort of foundation where we could rebuild, where we could, like, let's keep it real. Like, I believe the kid is like 17, 18 years old. That's not an age where kids should really make a forever decision about not having their parents in their life. That's not a forever decision because guess what? The parent that you're really cool with, they could be gone tomorrow, God forbid. And now what? Then and now what? So people have to be very cognizant of decisions that they make, and especially when it comes to parenting, and you parenting with somebody or against somebody opposed to working with somebody. Regardless if you're being painted the villain, regardless if you're being painted the angel, at the end of the day, if it's always about the children, at the end of the day, that child should be able to have a conversation with either parent about anything that's uncomfortable because it's in love and it's supposed to be in a resolve. But anytime you're recording, anytime you need the next parent to give you backup to be a cheerleader, that's not going to end well. That's not resolving jack. Like, what are we doing? Those are my two issues regarding that. Because you're not going to resolve it if the goal is to resolve it. Now, if the goal is not to resolve it, then hey, you do what you want to do, man. Your life is your life. But being as young as this young man is, 10 years from now, he's going to look at the situation completely different. I know that because I'm older. I know that because obviously I've been a son and I'm a dad. So at the end of the day, I know on both sides of the ball, moving forward, you're going to look at it differently. Now, there's grown kids that are choosing to go non-contact with their parent or a parent or both parents. But understand this: when you become grown, you can't have it both ways. You can't make grown decisions and then want kitty responsibilities on the back end. You have to own up to all the consequences that come with it. Because just as a young adult, when you make these decisions, your parent is a person too. And they don't want to go through that hurt neither. And that's gonna hurt you more, it's gonna hurt them. Because life goes on and life is too short. And you could turn around and blink and both your parents be gone. Just like mine. And my parents passed away 2 years in the same time, well, in 2 years of each other. They could be going in the blink of an eye. So to choose or to feel like you choosing one over the other is not healthy, especially when you go through traumatic things where you feel like, all right, this parent is really not there for me for real. I can't go to this parent like that. And like I get that because again, all parents are not perfect. No parent is perfect. None. And even the most perfect parent that we think is they're not perfect neither. I understand the level of hurt on feeling that way, but you have to be able to speak that out man to man. If you had that energy with your mom, you have to be able to say that to your mom without dad being there to be like, "Yeah, I told you she wasn't on it. She was like now because it's supposed to be resolution based. So anytime you're trying to prove something, it's never going to be resolution based. So that's how I feel about regarding that situation. But I hope it gets resolved because I honestly I hate the new narrative of young adults, kids not having a relationship with a parent or their parents. Like what are we doing? And honestly, I believe that's all in messaging. That's all in the things that people are eating and watching. It's all it's because it's all feeling based. It has nothing to do with the reality. It has nothing to do with a set and logic. Everything is about feeling now. I feel this way, so it's true. No, feeling and truth is two different things. Get to the truth. Get to the truth. So that's what I got regarding that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic on Time to Rap. The Miami Heat power forward or center Bam Adebayo scores an NBA record 83 points in the game, which surpassed Kobe Bryant 81 points in the game. And now Bam Adebayo is at number 2 points scored in the game for the most points ever in the game. He's second. Obviously, there's Will Chamberlain who scored 100 points that we've never seen in the physical game. But they said it does exist, but he now has eclipsed Kobe Bryant 81 to the 83 points in the game. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I will say this. I will say this. Bam Adebayo, he's a very talented player. He's a very gifted player. He has a lot of tools and traits that would that he would be a high level NBA guy. But I don't think career wise and based off his production that he's viewed as such. I've seen a lot of negative backlash on him scoring this 83 points. This game wasn't revered at all. And I honestly believe if he would have had 80, I think he would have got more props for scoring 80 than 83. Mainly because, let's keep it real, Bam Adebayo can play. Bam Adebayo is talented. On a championship team, Bam Adebayo could literally be your second best player on your team. But he's not known for putting up a whole bunch of buckets on a regular basis. So now when he scores 83 points, it's not far fetched. It's not like, what? That's why it's not well received because Bam Adebayo, let's keep it real. Career wise, based on his talent, he underachieved a bit. Miami is always struggling. Not always totally his fault, but you are the leader of that team. You've been the best player on that team for quite a while. And outside of Jimmy Butler being in the Jimmy Butler years, he's always been the guy on the team. But he doesn't put up wild numbers night in and night out. That's the only reason why this 83-point game is not well received. Other people are saying, well, he went to the foul line 49 times. Yeah, that happens when you're playing against a bad team like Washington. That happens. And to be quite honest, I'm not mad that he scored the 83 points. I mean, you're going to go out there and get it. You're going to go out there and get it. Right? But at the end of the day, he's not. I would not be surprised if the next game that Bam Adebayo played, that he scored 19 points. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised the next game that they play, he scores 25 and Miami Heat loses. Again, it's about how he's been playing throughout his career. Now, if Kyrie was to score 83 points, if Luka was to score 83 points, if Shea was to score 83 points, these are guys who put up a lot of buckets and is known for getting buckets. These are bucket hunters. And it wouldn't be like it would be a big deal, but it wouldn't be like who, what, did where. It wouldn't have mattered if they would have went to the foul line 49 times. It wouldn't matter if Steph Curry got well. It would obviously matter if Steph Curry get 83 points, but it wouldn't be like Steph Curry scored 83 points in the game. With the Bam Adebayo, it's like Bam Adebayo scored 83 points in the game. Mind you, he has the talent. He has the speed at the big man position. He can handle the ball, pick and roll. He has an elbow game that is really underrated. But again, we don't see it night in, night out. So that's why people was like, yo, what is this? What am I watching? And then on top of it, you get the cesspool that Washington is. And it's like, it's against Washington. Terrible team. Like, honestly, that Washington franchise, pack it up. Pack it up. I give so much respect to a guy like John Wall that did what he did for Washington because if he was healthy, because a healthy John Wall always had Washington in the tops of the Eastern Conference. The tops. Mind you, it's injuries that plagued him. He's young enough where he still could have been in the league, but the injuries plagued him and he made Washington a contender. I give guys credit like Chris Webber when he was in Washington, contenders. Well, first round, second round, because they play. There was a playoff team. Is the point that I'm making. But when you have the team that they have now, I don't even think Anthony Davis played a game yet. I don't even think Ice Pick Trey played a game yet from Atlanta. I don't even think he played yet. So at the end of the day, it's a cesspool. So when you have those ingredients where Bam has been underachieving throughout his career, but is a great talent, doesn't put up great numbers all the time. He gets 83 points, go to the foul line 49 times against a terrible Washington team. It's not going to be received well. I honestly believe if he would have had 80 instead of 83, it would have been completely different. Yo, Bam had 80. Yo, he had 80, bro. Like, that's crazy. But 83 in particular, because now it's a passes Kobe. And what do we know Kobe for? Kobe gonna get buckets. Bean gonna get buckets. Mamba will dunk on your mother if she's in the hole. He doesn't care, or he did not care. Mamba was a bucket. He was a killer. He was a bucket hunter. He's out there trying to steal your soul. Night in, night out, Mamba giving pain. And what that number represent and what it signifies, and Bam getting 83 on it, it's not going to hit the same. It's not going to hit the same. But I hate this conversation because it takes away from his accomplishment a little bit. And I don't want that for him because he is a great talent. If you really look at talent for talent, Bam can play. He's a talent. But because his production have always been underwhelming, even if it was like it was cool, it was good, it's been underwhelming. I mean, this is still a great achievement though. I've never seen this many points scored in an NBA game personally. It surpassed Kobe. Again, what Wilt did 100. I ain't never seen that 100. I ain't gonna be able. It never happened. I ain't gonna say all that. I ain't never see it. I ain't never see it. But I seen this young man score 83 points. This is a major accomplishment. He should get the respect and adulation. But I had to name the reasons why that he was getting kicked back, or the basketball world was going to give him kickback. And that's the reason why. If he was known for getting buckets, this wouldn't even be a conversation. This wouldn't be a conversation. If Dwayne Wade would score 83 points, this wouldn't be a conversation. If Allen Iverson, matter of fact, let's stick to the bigs. If Chris Webber was to score 83 points, wouldn't have been a conversation. Sean Kemp wouldn't have been a conversation because these guys went after buckets. So, hey man, again, in all honesty, because I'm not a hater, I love the game of basketball. But congratulations to Bam Adebayo. He still put up 83 points, regardless of who they played or what the circumstances was. He still had to shoot that thing. He still had to score. And he put it up. And you have to give him his credit. You have to. You have to. He will forever be in credit. I mean, be in the history book. So, like how I said before, it's feelings over facts. The fact he got 83 points. And that's what's going to be remained in the history books of 20 years from now, when he's an old man with a pot belly and is walking around and going to the Miami Heat game. And they're like, yo, Bam put up 83 points back in 2026. That is something that would never go away. So you got to give him his credit. He made history, and you got to give him his credit for that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Um, excuse me. A former NFL player, Darren Lee, used Chat GPT for advice after allegedly unaliving his former girlfriend. Prosecutors claim uh, they made claims from the Tennessee detectives, and body cam is also has also been revealed regarding that. Again, former NFL player Darren Lee used Chat GPT for advice after allegedly unaliving his girlfriend. Prosecutors claim from the Tennessee detectives that the body cam has also revealed some of these, accusations or things that they're saying um, that he did. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to Ebony. She in them comments showing major, major love. Hit them likes, y'all. Hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We have a little over, no, we're almost at 13. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button. We got membership portions of the page. Shout out to King P. He also gifted some memberships into the chat. So shout out to King P as well, man. Appreciate that as always. All right, y'all. So again, I remember Darren Lee playing them old school Madden games. This is very unfortunate. This is very unfortunate. Again, how I spoke previously about when players retire and they home and they dealing with their significant other, and that becomes a new normal. Now, if it comes out that he did unalive his ex-girlfriend, if he did, and also use Chat GPT for the advice on how to move after the fact that she's unalive. Like, is that what we're doing now? We using AI to commit these type of crimes? Is this what we're doing? AI is supposed to be used for assist. We're using this for crimes? The audacity. Did we not see this in the Will Smith movie called AI? When AI was supposed to be used for help, a helping hand, assistance, that feeling like there's never enough hours in the day, and now we're using the AI to commit unalivings or assist in the unalivings. Imagine having like a office assistant. You have a unaliving assistant. Like, is that what we really doing? Did you make your checklist? Did you get the body bag? Did you get the cement? Did you get the lime? Like, the lime? Did you get that stuff? Did you get the scents? Using Chat GPT. So if this is true, this is very scary because I would I would hate for people for Chat GPT or for AI to now be limited because people are using this in a very unimaginative way. So if he did do this, he should go to jail. Simple and plain. He should go to jail and face the consequences he got coming for him. And they should not be easy on it. Now, if you use the Chat GPT, and the reason why this matters because this proves the fact that you're trying to cover something up. Doesn't prove the intent, but it proves the fact that you're trying to cover it up. There should be more time because now it's proof. It's no different from somebody trying to do something and calling somebody else to assist them to get rid of the body or to do something to throw the cops off. There's no difference. So he should get all the time and then some for committing this crime and trying to cover it up. So it is what it is. But I remember playing with the Jets and boosting Darren Lee's stats, so we have a better chance of winning. So it's very unfortunate when people fall from grace. They really fall from grace. It's really unfortunate how one day you could be making millions of dollars. You have people, you have kids revere you, looking up to you, and then the very next day, allegedly, you're possibly unaliving somebody that's supposed to be close to you. Man, when they say the meek shall inherit the earth, all right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Wrap. An Airbnb host, shared a video with the man, excuse me, an Airbnb host shared a video with a man's wife showing her that he was with another woman after he left a bad review uh, under under the uh, under the Airbnb. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, hit the likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. And again, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over we're almost at 13. We're almost at 13. We like, cheek kissing the 13. So, make sure y'all subscribe and show that love. I thought this was very interesting. Again, Airbnb host shared a video with the man's wife that he was with another woman after he left a bad review. It's he's not understanding that he doesn't have the upper hand. This is all in bad taste for both parties. It's sucker that that you leave this not sucker that you leave a bad review because it is what it is. If your spot is not up to par, I'm leaving this bad review so you can get it up to par. Simple and plain. It's not nothing personal, it's business. But to be so kind of like on a whole nother level of petty, it's like, oh, so you leaving me a bad review. I'm going to show your wife what you really been up to, why you really got the Airbnb. So I just think that's very reckless because on top of that, it could change somebody's life for the worse. Because the wife could have went into a rage and did something to him, did something to that woman, And it's also not your place to tell that, regardless if he's right or wrong. Because you don't know their situation. You don't know if he get a chance to play. You don't know if they have a polyamory type of relationship. You don't know. So you playing with forces of evil that you can't control. But what you can control is how trash your Airbnb is. If it is trash, and I'm pretty sure if he left a bad review, then you've got a bad review before. So at the end of the day, you're wrong. You're the entity, you're the business, you're the company. Improve it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the type of footage that McDonald's and all these public companies have? Can you imagine all the bad reviews that all these other companies get? Can you imagine that out of spite and out of being petty, like, oh, you want to leave bad review? Look what you was doing at 2 o'clock. We don't care who this was, but you was doing with somebody. Like, can you imagine what type of life that would be? People will be getting unalive, breaking up their home, breaking up their. You ask if this is a place for you asking for the review. Was it good or bad? And when you get a bad review, you use it to improve. You don't use it to get even. It's a business. It's not nothing personal. So the person who ran the Airbnb, the host, super duper trash on your part. Just improve your spot, and no, you won't get left bad reviews. Simple and plain. Because I can't imagine if you're patroning something and it's not up to par and you leave your criticism on it, your critique. Now the company, or he not doing what he said he really doing, like or she not doing what she said she really doing, and like it's a whole lot of petty for no reason. So I gotta like at the end of the day, like I'm not jacking what the host did, the Airbnb host did to that man. It's crazy. And some of y'all were like, oh, you only saying that because he's a guy and he has nothing to do with it. It could have been a woman with a side dude. It could have been a woman with the side dude. It's not the host's place to blow the woman up, especially if the woman left a bad review. This has nothing to do with man, has nothing to do with woman. It has everything to do with business versus the actual review. It's an actual critique. And you use these critiques to better your business. It's not personal. So, like I said, either way, it's still super whack on the host. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Wrap. Max Crosby was traded from the Raiders to the Ravens for 2 first-round picks. Since then, the Ravens have rescinded the trade. And when they made the trade, the NFL, rules that you can make trades without it being solidified until several days later because of the free agent period. And of course, due to a player passing a physical. So again, teams could, rescind the trade if the player doesn't pass the physical. It's like they're not physically able to play, so we're not going to make this trade. It doesn't benefit our team. So that's what the Ravens did. They rescinded the trade. Max Crosby showed up for his physical, did not pass, and now they rescinded the trade, which now sends him back to the Raiders, and his contract is very lucrative, very big, and because they thought his contract was gone, they signed other players with basically that money being voided. So now those plays are now voided as well until they can find another trading partner. Like I said, when the trade was made, I think the Ravens gave up too much in the first place. And I think they realized it after they made the trade. 2 first-round picks for a guy like Max Crosby's talent is not something that is like far fetched, but you're not Max Crosby away from it for his production to winning the Super Bowl unless you're certain teams. If Max Crosby go to a team like the Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, maybe a team like the Indianapolis Colts, definitely a team like the Texans, uh, another team like the Seahawks, where they're a Max Crosby away from winning the Super Bowl. The Ravens are not. They're not, and they give him 2 first-round picks for his production is crazy. Talent wise, Max Crosby is a dog for sure. He's a dog. But again, even if he gives you 15 sacks on the Ravens, do you see them winning the Super Bowl? I don't. I don't. So at the end of the day, I feel like they gave him too much on the very beginning. I said that last episode. But they since rescinded the trade because he hasn't passed the physical. So now you're not going to get the same offer if you get an offer for Max Crosby moving forward. You're not going to get 2 first-round picks for him. You're not. He has a problem passing the physical. He wants out of he wants out of Vegas. He wants to play for another team that's a contender, but he's not physically able to right now. Now when he gets physically able to, you'll get a better trade, but you're not going to get 2 first-round picks because now he has a history of quote unquote being hurt, which he necessarily doesn't. But in the NFL, if you've been healthy and then you get hurt, then now you have a history of being hurt. That's how the NFL see it, and they're going to use that as a negotiation ploy. Simple and plain. So now the Raiders get their void of their other contracts. They keep him for now, and they have to find another trading partner. But I guarantee you that trading package will not be the same. And mind you, a team to accept the trade, they have to really accept the fact that he doesn't pass the physical, and they have to believe in the fact that he's going to rehab properly and that he's going to be able to, get back to where he was to even be comfortable with the trade. So moving forward, I thought this situation was very interesting because the Raiders did make some good moves after they traded him. So, in other words, they got to be creative in on how they're going to move forward because now they can't build their team because those guys are not going to wait on the Raiders to trade Max Crosby. They're going to take the next best deal that they can get. So the team that they could have is going to be it's not going to be the same because in free agency things move by the minute. So I mean, this was very tacky on the Raiders' part, not doing their due diligence when they made the trade, not doing their due diligence, acting like the Ravens wasn't going to test this man. And now you blow your cover. Now you blow your ammunition when it comes to trading power. You have no real trading power now when it comes to trading Max Crosby. So I really put fault on the Raiders for this. I don't put fault on the Ravens. People are saying that the Ravens is messed up. How they messed up? How they messed up? They did a physical on this man, and honestly, the only reason why the physical matter for real is because they knew they messed up by giving up 2 first-round picks, and they found a way to get out of it. Oh, he didn't pass his physical. Get him. Yeah, we just gonna rescind this because we was giving up too much from the beginning, from off the jump. So this is their way of rectifying that. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. A 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz has been booked on attempted murder, held 10 million in held for 10 million bond for the gunfire struck at Rihanna's LA mansion. She may also suffer from mental illness. There's a viral video caught on tape, obviously, where Ortiz believed that Rihanna wanted to unalive her and that how Rihanna is a witch, which led her for allegedly busting shots at her home and obviously could have killed her or any random person, her kids, her husband. So that could have ended in such a way. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, shout out to Ebony showing major, major love in the chat, man. For all those who are watching, if you have already hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Some of these men are evil and people in general. But wow, what are you talking about, girl? Said men are evil. Talking about it's a bit uncomfortable that so many families use society media to society media to acknowledge family business. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz booked on attempted murder, being held 10 million bond for the gunfire struck at Rihanna's LA mansion. Y'all know who Rihanna is. Legendary Rihanna. She may suffer from mental illness. A viral video caught her on tape believing that Rihanna was trying to unalive her, and that how Rihanna is also a witch. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, it, this is very scary. And the reason why this is very scary, not only it could have obviously unalived Rihanna, but like I said, it could have unalived her husband, her kids, anybody that's coming from that household. And based on any type of mental illness, which is not a scapegoat, might I add, but it's a bit more understandable because it doesn't feel personal, it just feels random, right? But it still doesn't make it easier and it still doesn't make it better. This person should still go to jail. I don't care if she has 12 people talking to her, saying whatever, it still doesn't make it right. Now, should this person be in some sort of mental institute if it is proven that she has mental issues? Because people like to push the mental issues and do something, and they're like, "Hey, you see, I'm crazy," right? So we don't know if that's a possible possibility because this person had made these videos before this happened. So how do we not know, like in Darren Scott case, that she didn't use the Chat GPT to get to do a preventative way of getting off of something, opposed to the after effect? How do we know that she didn't use Chat GPT to be like, how do I beat an attempted, unaliving case before I even attempt it? How do we know? We just learned of this lady's existence, not too long ago. So I don't care if she was in her right mind or in her wrong mind. She should go to jail or she should be in a mental institute for a long time. Period, point blank. Because now, even though it didn't happen, what if Rihanna would have got unalive? What if ASAP Rocky would have got unalive? Her husband. What if one of their kids would have got unalive? What if? Because the possibility is very high. Will that make it okay because the person has mental, mental issues? No, it doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't. It feels like a waste. So this person should face the consequences of her actions for real. Now, whether it's in jail or a mental institute, as long as she's out the way. And some people may feel like that's insensitive, but I don't care. I don't care, especially when it comes to my loved ones. I don't care when it comes to my significant other or my kids. I don't care. You could have took their life. You could have took my life. You could have took all of our lives. It doesn't matter. Somebody could have got seriously injured. It doesn't matter. I don't care. When it comes to the protection of my family and my loved ones, I take that to the utmost. So for this lady, regardless if she has mental issues or not, she should face jail time and a long time. Or if it's confirmed that she has really mental issues, then she should be in a mental institute for the duration of what her jail sentence will be, if not longer. Because what goes to say if she gets out that this doesn't start happening again, that these voices don't start talking to her again. So now you're putting other people at risk. So yeah, pack her up. It may sound insensitive. So what? So what? Which one would you rather be, insensitive or dealing with the grief of your loved one, your significant other, your child? Pack her up. Pack her up. Shout out to Lori in the building. Hit the likes, hit the 100s. Appreciate you for tapping. And she said hi. Appreciate you as always, Lori. Shout out to the chat. Y'all gifted some memberships in the chat. So again, I appreciate that major, major love regarding that, man. All right, so moving on to my next segment, my Keep the Lie Live segment. So my Keep the Lie Live for this episode is this: stop reacting out of emotions. If you notice the common thread of the show of everything that we talked about, stop reacting out of emotions. Because what? Emotions is not laced in facts. Emotions ain't nothing but feelings. And feelings versus facts, facts win all the time. So stop making decisions out of emotion because it don't benefit. And another reason why I bring that up, R&B singer, I would say she's somewhat of a legend. Adina Howard, she revealed the story that based on her relationship with Wanye Morris from Boyz II Men at a particular time, their relationship was more like a hookup type of relationship because at that same time he was dealing with Brandy, the R&B singer Brandy, actor extraordinaire. So she was basically dealing with him on the side. Now she was advised by her label head, hey, you need to end that relationship. You're a dope artist. You got the world at your feet. And to be quite honest, you don't need the bad publicity. You got a freaky song, but you can sing and you make great music. And out of emotion, she cussed out. She cussed out, which led for her second album, which was highly anticipated at the time, to not be released. Now, her second album was later released, somewhat in the 2020s or something like that, or it was much later than what it was. It was definitely in the 2000s. Mind you, Adina Howard came out in the 90s. So that's a long time after. Like, look at the world we live in as far as artists, where artists, we drop music basically once a year, right? We drop music way more than what artists did in the 90s, right? Regardless of staying power, the fact that that second album was supposed to be through the roof, where most labels, when you have a great first album, they gonna put the budget into that second album because they feel like they want to recoup. And because your emotions got in the way of the business, the label heads back then, they would just not put you out. They would just shelf you. It's not like today where like a lot of labels, they move with a little heart. You know what I'm saying? Which that means is they will just release you. This music that we recorded, it will never come out. But we're gonna release you. You go find another label. Or we're gonna release you and you owe us money. That's for a fact that labels do today as well too. You want to be released, you owe us this money. If you record anything else, you owe us this money, and we will sue you. But back then, they would shelf you, and what that means is you're still on the label, you're still visible, but you will never get put out ever again. We put you on the shelf until I say so, or until I sell the company, and then if this company gets sold, you get released entirely, and you get released of that access, which you don't want either. So shelving used to be like a thing where artists, and they didn't come correct, they got shelved, and that was more detrimental to that artist than releasing them at that time. So, amen. Don't let emotions get in the way of real things. Stop reacting to your emotions. It's not beneficial. When you sit back and relax and be able to make a real decision, losing the emotional aspect, you always make way better decisions. But anytime you do anything laced in emotion, you're gonna get the shit out of the stick. You're gonna lose access. You're gonna lose your resources. Nobody's gonna want to work with you. And that's in all things. That's not just in music. That's in corporate. If you piss the wrong person off in corporate, you feel like a body done dropped in the office. Ain't nobody trying to deal with you. You do that with the boss. Ain't nobody trying to deal with you. So at the end of the day, stop letting your emotions and stop reacting to emotional things because it's out of emotions. So stop reacting out of emotions. And that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. I want to thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all been absolutely amazing. As always, y'all been absolutely amazing. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, episode 245. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We right at the kissing point of 13. So again, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, hit that all notification bell. I do pop up throughout the week. I release at least 2 videos a day. So make sure y'all tap into those videos. We got over 600 rewatchable videos of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast of this channel. The playlist is available on this channel as well. Also, tap into the membership portion. Take advantage of those memberships. We had quite a few badge holders in the building, and we had some more badge holders gifted to the chat. So again, thank you for the major support. I want to thank Button Snaps again as our presenting sponsor of this podcast, where you get to find us some movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. I also want to thank OUV Records. Make sure y'all be on the lookout for that new app, the OUV Records app, where you get music directly from OUV Records artists. And it's going to be super duper fire because, again, we create, we document, and we inspire. So it's going to be absolutely fire. This is also a product box. So anytime people order, we have the bigger version and the smaller version of the box. We try to, customize it, make it cool, and everything like that. So again, I appreciate y'all love and support. Also, lastly, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Do not try to stand out for being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset, that only one mindset, and to have the ability to stand out for showing major, major love. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate has a location. It's just not here. We celebrate life culture over here. Y'all already know. I'm gonna see y'all this Sunday at 10:30. And hey, man, it's love. And I'm gonna see y'all this Sunday at 10:30. I'm out.